Hi everyone. On behalf of the Institute of Economic Affairs, we summarize the year 2019 to 3 main points. The first was that in November 2019, we completed implementation of the 4th strategic plan of the Institute of Economic Affairs. In the same time, in anticipation of that completion, the IEA, together with the Board of Directors, had begun some thinking and deliberations around building the next strategic plan. And so in November 2019, one strategic plan came to an end and we started the implementation of the 5th. The 5th strategic plan will be effective from November 2019 up to October 2024. We hope you come along with us for that ride. It's an ambitious plan with many pillars, but the main one is to make sure that the IEA continues to be a leading commentator, generator of information, and public education institution on key issues in public affairs, developing solutions and working together with decision makers, improve the performance of policy and to make efficient decisions regarding public affairs in Kenya. The third area is to strengthen the membership of the Institute of Economic Affairs as an association. In this, with the emphasis from the Board of Directors, the staff of the IEA and myself have been committed to ensure that we strengthen the partnerships, continue to provide value for members, and to build the association in the ways that we've spoken about, but also to ensure that we keep fidelity to the Articles of Association and the Charter of the Institute of Economic Affairs. The third area is to build our systems internally, to consolidate the staff, and to ensure that we develop partnerships domestically, regionally, and globally to raise the profile of the Institute of Economic Affairs and to make the Institute of Economic Affairs to continue to be a key institution for generating ideas, highlighting solutions, and developing and testing solutions useful for building more efficient and prosperous societies. Thank you.
My name is John Mutua. I work at the Institute of Economic Affairs as a programs coordinator, and I also head the program on public finance management. Now, in line with the objective of providing insights on macroeconomy, influencing fiscal policy, as well as strengthening demand for mainly civil society to demand for accountability on public finances towards improving service delivery, there are 3 notable highlights that I would like to share for the year 2019 from the program. The first one is that increasingly we've become the go-to institution, of course through the program, for insights on macroeconomy. So there's been a lot of demand from various institutions, mainly private sector, as well as development partners, for us to do analysis or share insights. And the one to note is, for instance, UAP, which is a financial institution, as well as some 2 leading commercial banks that approached us in the year 2019 just to share insights on the macroeconomy and fiscal policy issues, things to do with public debt, because those things are important towards influencing their decisions on investment, as well as the operations, and noting where the risks are, as well as where the opportunities are. So these are things that we shared based on the demand that we received. And the second notable highlight, which is something that has actually increased our profile, both locally as well as internationally, is that we are currently implementing a project that's funded by Hewlett Foundation. And this is a project that we're implementing jointly with a think tank based in Washington, D.C. in the US, called the Urban Institute. And the project is on using tools and evidence. So these are new tools. And actually the board has been challenging us to use new tools just towards shaping decision making in public affairs. So the tools that we'll be developing in this project is a revenue forecasting model that we believe will be critical in terms of enhancing or influencing decisions towards a decentralized system of government, and in particular towards sharing of equitable revenue between the 2 levels of government. And so we have an MOU with the Commission on Revenue Allocation, And we believe that through this work and the evidence that we'll be able to generate, it will elevate CRA's influence as an advocate for revenue sharing, actually, in between the two levels of government. We know that this issue has been contentious since 2013, and we believe that through the work that we'll be doing and the evidence that we'll generate, it will be able to influence the discourse and, of course, educate the public more on providing inputs in matters to do with the division of revenue. And the third one to note is what we've done in terms of increasing inroads in our budget advocacy work, budget analysis work at the county level. So through our partnership in Voice for Change with SNV Netherlands, we've been implementing a 5-year project on promoting evidence in advocacy for sanitation in terms of increased investment and prioritization towards improved access to sanitation, in sanitation. So in this project that is actually based at the county level, we've been working in 3 counties, Homa Bay, Elgeyo Marakwet, and Kericho. And so we have 3 key things that are important to note. The first one is that through this work, we've worked with the counties and CSOs in these 3 counties to improve. We've trained them actually on citizen alternative budget, and so they've used the work that the training that the skills that we've shared with them to be able to develop budget memos. And so through these budget memos, and particularly for Kericho, we've seen improved budget allocation towards sanitation in the year 2018 as well as in 2019. Thank you.
My name is Jacqueline Kagume, and I work as a program officer at the IEA in the Constitution, Law and Economy program. The goal of the program is to monitor and provide technical support to specific institutions created by the Constitution in order to raise their effectiveness and their performance and service delivery. Our main target institutions are Parliament, the Judiciary, the Office of the Auditor General, and select constitutional commissions. For the year 2019, we implemented 3 major projects. The first was a project under the Deepening Democracy program, which was supported by UK Aid. The aim of this project was to increase the utilization of the Auditor General's reports by civil society organizations as well as county assemblies and Parliament. For Parliament and county assemblies, the aim was to improve their action on the recommendations that are made in the annual Auditor General's report. Under the DDP project, we sought to raise the profile of the audit of public finances, both at the national and the county level, by identifying and equipping select civil society organizations and citizens with the skills to be able to interpret and interrogate the Auditor General's reports, and then subsequently lead discourse on the content and findings of the reports. The main output from this project was 8 reports from the counties that we engaged. The project was successful in raising the literacy of the CSOs. Most of the CSOs that we engaged reported increased awareness on how to interpret the Auditor General's reports and use the findings for advocacy. We had various engagements with members of county public accounts and investments committees under this project, as well as members of the 2 oversight committees at the national level on how they can improve their oversight function by use of the Auditor General's report. The second project that we implemented in 2019 was a project supported by the Ford Foundation on enhancing fiscal justice and accountability in the management of public resources in Kenya. The project was implemented in partnership with the PFM program, so it was a collaboration between CLE and PFM, and what we did was to conduct an analysis of the trends in Kenya's public debt, highlighting its affordability and sustainability, and we convened several dialogues to discuss their findings. The aim of this was to raise public literacy on the issue of public debt And we also had various dialogues with the stakeholders, including members of parliament, representatives of the media, including the Editors Guild, key development partners, civil society organizations, and 4 universities. Under the fourth project, we also designed a digital representation tool illustrating the country's total public debt. The objective of this tool was basically to provide a platform that would provide the citizen with an easy read and interpretation of the status of our public debt. The third project that we implemented was a project on open contracting supported by HIVOS. The aim of the project was to enhance citizen engagement in public contracting by providing insights on how government obtains and spends money. The main rationale for this project was to increase citizen knowledge on public contracting processes and basically how this should translate to more advocacy for adherence to public procurement regulation and calling for change. So our thinking was that with increased citizen awareness on public contracting processes, then that would translate to more advocacy for adherence to public procurement regulation for enhanced transparency and accountability in public spending. The HIVOS project started late in 2019 and its implementation has continued in 2020. But from the other 2 major projects, we had several outputs, and this was in terms of reports. We had a training manual developed under the Deepening Democracy Program project on how different actors should use the Auditor General's reports. So we had a training manual for that. And we also had various easy-read versions of Auditor General's reports, which were developed as syntheses of the main reports from the 8 counties as well as at the national level for the national financial audit reports. Other outputs included, other than reports, we had blogs and we had digital platforms still on the Auditor General's reports, which is separate from IA's website, but this was a repository for audit work on audit findings. So all these, the various outputs, we have physical and hard copies for the reports. The physical copies are available in our office, and the soft copy versions of the various publications that we did are available on IA's website, as well as the platform on the work we did with the Auditor General's. That basically is a highlight of CLE's updates for the year 2019, and we look forward to carrying on some of these successes to the next year. Thank you.
My name is Winnie Ogejo and I work at the Institute of Economic Affairs under the Futures and Foresight program. The program goal is to use futures methodologies and scenario building techniques for foresight in policy formulation and strategy development. So in 2019, the program had several highlights, and one of the highlights we had was an invite by the International Development Research Center, IDRC, to make a presentation on a study the program had done at their annual Indaba. The study was on diversity management and pluralism in Kenya's private sector firms. And then the same year, we majorly focused on social accountability and devolved governance. And under our focus, we worked with Uraia, who are our main funders, to carry out several activities. And some of the activities that we were able to carry out under that project, which is the Rooting Democracy in Kenya, we were able to train county executives. And the county executives who were trained by the IEA were the chairpersons of the budget and the appropriation committees. And they were trained on budget formulation and implementation. And then we also did public expenditure tracking. And this was done on the implementation of the Baringo County Education Bursary Fund. And we were just trying to see what are some of the issues and challenges and the wins that the county has had as far as that implementation is concerned. And we were also able to carry out another training on understanding and utilizing the Office of the Auditor General's reports. And this we did majorly focusing on our implementing partners at the county level. So these were some of the key highlights that the program had. Thank you.
My name is Joan. I work under the Trade and Development Program at the Institute of Economic Affairs. The goal of the Trade and Development Program is to inform Kenya's position in the various trade negotiations that it's involved in, as well as influence the formulation of development-oriented trade policies. The influence is at the three levels of trade: international trade, continental trade, as well as regional and local trade. So key issues that the program focused on in 2019 towards the realization of the program goal was the fostering and creation of new partnerships that would help us realize the program goal, as well as increasing outreach and advocacy in our work to influence trade policy just beyond local trade. So towards this, the program participated in the 2019 Wto Public Forum that happened in Geneva, which is a platform that gave us an opportunity to interact with our peers in the international trade arena, and also get to exchange and share ideas on the current and topical trade issues being discussed and setting the agenda at the international trade level. So this improved our engagement and participation in international trade arena, and also helped shape the program's plan and areas of policy focus and discussion for the coming reporting period. The program also joined the National Trade Facilitation Committee on Information and Transparency, and we also form part of the East Africa Trade Network, CSOs. So some of the partnerships that the new partnerships we created through these platforms was KenTrade from the State Department of Trade, as well as Amari Consulting, which is an e-commerce firm. So the new partnerships have formed part of our knowledge generation initiatives, either as respondents or partners. The second initiative is on advocacy and increased outreach. The program focused on tracking the increasingly changing trade dynamics at the international level and its related events. An example was Brexit, as well as the China-US trade wars. So towards this, we did an analysis of the China-US trade wars, just to bring out the dynamics of the global trickle-down effects of the retaliatory import tariffs between the two countries, and also bring out policy insights on the opportunities that arise from the diversionary trade as a result of the import tariffs between the two countries, where you see exports and imports reduced from either countries, so giving an opportunity to other countries to take advantage of that opportunity and either become new trade partners as importers or exporters to the two countries. So the result of this analysis was posted in the East African magazine, so meaning it gave us an opportunity to influence policy just beyond local trade in Kenya, but rather also influence regional trade at the East Africa, as well as the continent, since the magazine has a big outreach of readers. Thank you.
I'm Stephen Jairo. I work under the Economic Regulation and Competition Policy Program at the Institute of Economic Affairs. I will give us or take us through the key highlights for the year 2019 in terms of research work and public forums that we carried out and the outputs thereof. So to start us off, the program actually in the year 2019, and in line with the new strategic plan and also with the President's Big Four agenda, the program has focused on the Big Four agenda items. And firstly, as a research area, we carried out research on agriculture and food security, and the output from that research is a paper that is entitled Issues to Consider Towards Ensuring Food Security in Kenya. It looks at a host of issues. You can interact with this available on our website, but having the recommendations from that paper, we held a public forum which was covered widely in both electronic and print media, And you can find that as well on our website and social media pages. In terms of public forums, we held two big public forums, and these were held in partnership with different organizations. Firstly, again, in the area of the Big Four agenda, we held one in partnership with Alternatives Africa, and this was on the manufacturing sector, just to isolate the key issues in the manufacturing sector and to showcase opportunities that the youth can harness within the sector. A second public forum was held in conjunction with the Friedrich Ebert Stiftung Foundation, FES, and this was to look at the future of work in the era of digitalization. Again, we note the developments in the country and around the world in the area of moving from analog to digital economy, and thus we saw it important to hold that particular forum. And finally, in the area, as I conclude the key highlights for 2019, we did a couple of blog posts. I just want to highlight one, which was on the Biashara Fund, and we remember there was the proposal to merge the various funds into one. So we looked at that critically, and that particular output is there on our website for us and all of us to interact with. So with that, thank you.